Ever since I started covering the Atari Gamestation Pro, which has now been, wow, over a year ago. It was first teased at CES 2023. It came out, I did reviews and ROM hacks and expansion and all the stuff that I've done. If I took all the comments and the questions that I got on those videos and I categorized them, I'm willing to bet that amongst the top 10 finishers would be, can I play 4-player Warlords on the Gamestation Pro, John? And it's a great question, but it was kind of a moot point because, look, it only comes with 2 controllers. You couldn't buy a second and a third one separately. You'd have to buy a whole second unit, so it just wasn't really worth exploring. However, with the new information we learned at CES 2024, we got to look at those 2 new controllers, including one of them is a kind of a D-pad, plus a thoughtful comment from one of my viewers here on another video on GenXGrownUp, got me to thinking, maybe there is a way now, if we can get some more controllers in our hand, to play 4-player Warlords. We're going to try to figure it out right after this. This video supported in part by...
Playing VR, I tend to sweat. It gives me an edge. So King of Nerds happens to give me an edge too. Let King of Nerds give you the edge. Bye, King of Nerds.
Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John, and I am a GenXGrownUp. First and foremost, thank you for clicking on this video. And if you did, it's likely because you're one of those people who was curious, is there a way to play 4-player Warlords on my Gamestation Pro? Now, previously, to even explore this, we'd have had to buy a whole second unit to get these other controllers. But you saw when I was visiting the My Arcade booth in Vegas this year that they introduced a new joystick and a new gamepad. Now these are going to be not only purchasable separately, but backward compatible with the Gamestation Pro you have, whether you buy them for that or you get the Gamestation Pro Remix. These controllers will all work across the board on the entire Gamestation Pro line. Plus, I mentioned I got a comment from a viewer saying, I don't know about Warlords, but I was able to plug in a third controller and play 3-player arcade games like The Simpsons Beat 'em Up, that arcade game. And I'm like, really? Now that's interesting. I wonder if there's a way between wired and wireless. Look, I know the wireless receiver in the GSP can only support 2 controllers, but what about a combination? Let's get to the table and try it out. Here's where we are so far. So I've got my Gamestation Pro here, and I've got the 2 wireless controllers set up and connected. But as I mentioned, the chip in here, the 2.4 gigahertz chip, can only talk to 2 controllers at a time. You also know that furthermore, if you want to, you can hardwire these controllers. Many people who have too much 2.4 gigahertz interference in their home or around their television have found that hardwiring it eliminates any interference that can cause latency with these controllers. However, what I hadn't considered was doing both. Having these controllers wired and having a third and a fourth hardwired to the GSP. Now to do that, of course, you're going to need to buy some cables if you don't have them already. And what I have here for this test are a pair of these USB-C to USB-C cables where I can plug one end directly into the back of the Gamestation Pro controller, whether it's the old one or one of the new ones you buy soon, and the other end right into the front of the Gamestation Pro. And once I've done that, I should have not 2, but 4 controllers recognized by the system. Now it comes time to test, will this work and do anything better for us with Warlords? Now I've switched to a bit of a bird's eye view here so you can see all 4 of the controllers connected to the GSP and the screen at the same time. And it appears that the first 2 wired are going to be number 1 and number 2, and then these 2 wireless are 3 and 4. So I'm going to hop in here. We're going to go, let's go to the 2600 titles and find Warlords. There it is. So we're going to jump into Warlords. Now this was the first test that I did, and I wasn't very optimistic after the results of this test. So what we know is, if you can see up here, 4-player is what this says, the first option, 4 players. And so I'm just going to hit start, and we'll be able to see that this one rotates player 1 over there. This one rotates player 2 over here. However, these are going to rotate the same 2. There's player 2, and there's player 1. So no real advantage here. All you have is, for the 2600 games, 4-player paddle games, you just have duplicates of the same thing. You could fight over the control of Warlords, basically. But if we switch over to the arcade version, okay, so this is the first controller, so coins go in here. So let's put in 4 coins. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and the way you start is by hitting the fire button. That's the player start. So check this out. Player 1, player 2, player 3, because that's 4 actually, Ha ha ha! Okay, so check this out. This one moves what I guess is player 1 or 2, whatever it is in the corner. This one moves the player 3. Here's player 2. And here's player 1. So it turns out you can actually play 4-player Warlords on the GameStation Pro, arcade only for now, by using 2 wired controllers and 2 wireless controllers like we have here. Now, the caveat, of course, who has 4 controllers? I happen to because I have multiple units for review, but the new ones are coming out, those ones we saw at CES, so those are going to be available. If you happen to have a friend that has a GameStation Pro, they can bring that over. Now, what about the 2600 Warlords? Yeah, we know that it doesn't work right now, but since the hardware is capable of processing 4 different paddle inputs simultaneously, there's no reason that we could not ask My Arcade to put on their wish list, please add 4-player paddle support for Warlords and really any other 2600 games that would need 4 different paddle inputs. There are a few more out there, not a lot, but there are a few. It'd be nice to have that support. Now, before I let you go, just a couple more data points that I did test because it bears testing. I tried these games both from the SD card slot where I expanded ROMs and also running from the native installed games. Same behavior in both cases. 2600 games, no dice on 4 paddles. Arcade, good deal on 4 paddles. So there you go. There's your answer. We finally know, yes, it's possible, and there's even room for improvement to give us more functionality in the future, if you can believe it. It never really ceases to amaze me just how many interesting things we can do with this GameStation Pro. Look, it was released to do one thing and do it as well as possible. Play these 200 games on your TV. Hooray! And it does that. But the more we tinker with it, the more we experiment with it, the more we're finding the opportunities to take this platform and kind of, stretch beyond what it was expected or intended to do. If I learn any more about this 4-player capability and the paddle stuff, check for a pinned comment in this video. In the meantime, I'll throw links here and here to some other GameStation Pro coverage I have done here on GenXGrownUp. I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this quick video, and I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.